Here we go, starting top left. We need to learn how to simplify fractions. To do that, we find common factors in the numerator and the denominator. In this case, the common factor is 7. We divide 7 into each, and that's why we end up with 3/4. This next one is an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. In order to deal with this, we divide the denominator into the numerator, and in this case that gives us 4 with 1 left over, and that 1 left over is fifths because the denominator does not change. So we've got 4 and 1/5. In order to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction, we multiply the whole number by the denominator and then add the numerator to get the new numerator, and the denominator stays the same, and so that's why we've got 17/3. When we're adding fractions with common denominators, all we have to do is add the numerators, and that's why this one is 3/7. To add fractions with different denominators, we need to find a common denominator. In order to do that, we need to find the lowest common multiple of the two denominators, or three denominators if there's a third. The trick is to start with the biggest one and count up in that number. So we're going to start with 5 and count up in 5s, and when we hit a multiple of 2, then we know we're there. So 5, nope, 10, yes, 10 is it, because both 5 and 2 divide into 10. Then we need to convert each numerator by finding out how much each denominator has been multiplied by to get the new denominator. So in this case, we've got to multiply by 2 here and by 5 there, and we do the same to each numerator, and that's why we end up with 4 plus 5, and that's why we end up with 9/10. When we multiply fractions, we simply multiply the numerators to get the new numerator and the denominator to get the new denominator, but it is a good idea to cancel first. And that's why when we cancel 2's into 2 and 4 and 3's into 3 and 3, we end up with 1/2. When we divide a fraction by a fraction, we invert and multiply. So we invert the second fraction and change the division sign to a multiplication sign. So this becomes 1/2 multiplied by 4/3. Then we cancel down appropriately, and that's why we end up with 2/3. Now the reason there was another equal sign is because we could have done the cancellation at the second stage. We could have made this 4, 1 times 4 is 4, 2 3's is 6, and cancelled 4/6 down to 2/3, but because we cancelled first, we don't need that step at the bottom. Now hopefully you saw how much of a nightmare those routines are for students to remember when they don't understand. And there are so many of them. The denominator doesn't change. You divide the denominator into the numerator. You find common factors. You find common multiples. You invert and multiply.